from Texas Stadium in Irving. It is the first round of the UIL State High School Playoffs. Tonight, it's the champions of District 7-5A, Euless Trinity Trojans, and the runners-up from 8-5A, Irving MacArthur Cardinals. Good evening, everyone. Brian Briscoe and Bob Berry to bring you all the action tonight as the teams have made their way through a long high school season and now on to the first round of the playoffs here from Texas Stadium. These two teams certainly no strangers to each other. This is the 11th meeting between Trinity and MacArthur, dating all the way back to 1970. Trinity leading the all-time series 7 wins to 3, but it has been the Cardinals series the past 3 games as they have won twice last year and again in 1984. And of course, everyone remembers the bi-district game right here almost a year ago to the date when MacArthur beat Trinity by a score of 16-7 after beating them earlier in the season 22-20. An interesting matchup of how the teams got here. The Trojans 9 wins and 1 loss, and their only loss to L.D. Bell at Texas Stadium right here 4 games ago. MacArthur Cardinals 7 wins and 3 losses, and of course finishing runner-up to Duncanville in District 8-5A, and they have won 2 straight against Mansfield, and of course the big win over Duncanville to finish out the season. It'll be an interesting style offensively. The wishbone offense from Trinity High School, the only time that MacArthur saw that all year was against Richardson Berkner, and they lost that game. And MacArthur runs out of the I formation. The only time the Trojans saw that all year was against Arlington. Now to bring you the play-by-play of tonight's game, Bob Berry.
Thank you very much, and here we go. Chris Henderson all ready to boot it off. The Trojans won the toss. They elected to receive, and here is the high end-over-end kick. Coming down and taken on the 12-yard line. The Trojan running back to the 30, the 35, and driving all the way out to the 38-yard line is B.J. Weaver. Good return by Weaver. This is the same young man who scored a touchdown against the Cardinals in the playoff, as Brian told you, almost a year ago today. Had a 1-yard dive, and that accounted for the lone touchdown as far as the Trojans were concerned in last year's playoff game. So it's 1st and 10 for the Trojans. They'll spot it on the 39-yard line, and they're going to use the wishbone running attack. Schultz is the quarterback. That is Coy Parker in motion. The handoff goes to the fullback, Weaver, across the 40, out to the 42-yard line. Nothing fancy that time as they ran it straight up the gut for a gain of 3. 2nd and 7. Offensively for the Trojans, the backfield consists of their quarterback, number 12, Darren Schultz. The left halfback is number 14, John Skinner. B.J. Weaver is the fullback. The right halfback is Sonny Fisher, number 25, and he alternates with number 27, Coy Parker. 2nd and 7. This time it is Fisher in motion, and again they go to Weaver, and Weaver goes to the 45, and no more than that.
Nice
Gain 1 more of 3.
Excuse me, Bob. Nice defensive play up front for the Cardinals, and the front 4 will have their hands full with this wishbone attack. Fleshman and Zamorano at the tackle should see a lot of Mr. Weaver up front.
3rd and 4, the first 2 offensive plays going into the middle, and that always makes you think they're going to start running the ends, but we'll have to wait and see. Again, Schultz is the quarterback, and he can run as well as pass. Schultz with it. Now Schultz carrying, going to the outside, looking for a pitch man, can't find him, and he is stopped short of the first down. Carried it out to about the 47.5-yard line, but he had to get out to the 49, and it was defensed very well by the Cardinals.
Ned Delane on the stop right about the time he made the turn, and Schultz isn't afraid to run as he rushed for over 600 yards.
Brad Riddell is the kicker extraordinaire for the Trojans. He does it all. Right now he'll be punting, but he'll also go for point afters, kickoffs, and field goals. That's a low snap, but a good kick away. That's going to come down and bounce on the 20, and taken by a Cardinal running back right there, and he has screamed. Quincy Edwards taking it, and really that was a good play by Quincy, because if he had allowed the ball to roll, it could have been touchdown inside the 5-yard line. So he took the punishment as they grabbed the ball, and then he was really belting. Cardinals will put it in play, 1st and 10 on their 12-yard line. And let us quickly identify the Cardinals for you. In the backfield, we'll have the quarterback, number 7, Toby Richardson. The tailback is number 8, Reggie Finch. Brad Knaus, the fullback, number 22. The wingback is Darren Arterberry. Out of the I formation, they go to the second man for a gain of about 1 yard on the play. The handoff that time to the tailback, Reggie Finch, and not much there.
Defensively for Trinity, Michael Hicks and Jimmy Williams, the tackles, as we said, on the other side for the Cardinals. Those two will be fairly busy. They're going to have to contain up the middle on Finch, but he has that breakaway speed to get outside as well.
Hillman Johnson just brought a play in from the bench. The pitch out to Reggie Finch, tries to go wide, and he is contained as he's hit on the 15-yard line. Just some very fine defensive play that time by the Trojans, who swarmed all over Reggie. Reggie Finch last year in this playoff game went on to score a touchdown on about a run of 30 yards. He was a sophomore then. Obviously, he's a junior now, and he has really been a very fine running back for this Trojan team. Third down and a bunch. They've got 3rd and 8. Again, they show I formation. Richardson can pass, but he's also a very good runner. The delay, Finch looks for something, tripped up. He's going to be dropped for a loss, and is back at about the 14-yard line.
That is Michael Hicks, who got the initial trip in the backfield before Vance Birchfield, the middle linebacker, was able to make the tackle for the loss of a yard. And 3 quick plays to Finch, and the Cardinals are going to have to kick it away.
John Bryant to do the punting. The lone safety will be Adian Baker. Bryant standing just about on the 1-yard line. Trojans don't show that they're going to put on a rush. Looks like they'll make a return. There's the left-footed boot, and a good one, coming out to about the 40-yard line, but the 45, where it's taken by Baker, and he gets around a swarm of would-be tacklers before he is popped down on the 40-yard line. Good return by Adian Baker. It did not look as if he would be able to get anything at all. He was surrounded by white jerseys, but just got away from them before he was popped down on the 39. So the exchange of punts works out very well indeed for the Trojans. They gave the ball up on about their 48-yard line. Now they get it back on the Cardinal 39. It'll be 1st and 10 from that point. Neither team as yet has picked up an initial first down in this game. Schultz rolling down, looks to pass, and is just overwhelmed as he tried to get the ball away, and he is creamed. The pass, of course, goes incomplete. He had sent a receiver down wide at about the 15-yard line, but that young man was covered very well indeed, John Skinner. This is Schultz as he's rolling out. He's looking for Skinner, and whammo, you talk about taking a hit.
Yeah. Delane right there to make the stop, and they had tried to get Skinner out of that wishbone set down the sideline, but pretty good coverage that there. More importantly, Delane had the heat on Schultz.
That's Ned Delane, one of the outside linebackers for the Cardinals, and that's one of the strengths of this team. Good linebackers. Here is the delay, and a nice cross counter. Taking the ball and going for a first down is Sonny Fisher. Fisher all the way down inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line. That should be enough for the first, and it is, and it's the initial first down in the game. A cross buck where they fake to one man and then hand it off to Fisher coming across the line of scrimmage. And he moved against the flow and really found himself a good hole and took advantage of it. So the Trojans trying to generate something here. The ball to Weaver. Not much at all as he went off the left side of the line, perhaps for 2 yards, but realistically, let's just call that about a yard and a half.
The thing that makes the wishbone so difficult to defense, obviously it is a run-oriented type of offense and 3 good runners back there, but with the triple option threat and a guy like Schultz who can throw the ball very well, you can't get too lazy in the secondary waiting on him to throw the ball.
True indeed. Schultz, by the way, comes from a football family. His older brother had played quarterback for this team. Schultz on the keeper. Gets some penetration as he moves down to the 20-yard line. That time it looked as if he had just made up his mind. He wasn't going to look for any pitch man. He was just going to run for some yardage. And he carries it down to the 20, where we'll have a 3rd down and about 2 to go. So a good carry by Schultz.
It'll be interesting along the game to see how well the Cardinals adjust to the wishbone. As we mentioned, they've only seen it once back in the Berkner game, and that was the 3rd game of the year.
And a game in which they really took their lumps, if memory serves me correctly. Here is Schultz with the ball. A handoff to Weaver. He should have enough for the first down as he's down to about the 17-yard line. First down indication by the official, and the Trojans put it in play as they've now moved for 2 first downs down to the 17. Trojan player a little slow in getting up. That was B.J. Weaver, but he's okay. Goes back into the huddle. Carpenter, Flashman, Zamorano, and Ferguson, the front four defensively for the Cardinals. Schultz with the ball. The handoff goes to the left half, and just losing his footing as he started diving across. And a fumble on the play. Let's see if the Cardinals got it. Let's see what the call will be. Apparently, he bobbled the ball after he came down. Sonny Fitcher was the running back. Ball down on the 13-yard line.
We'll get a look at it again, but the officials are going to say that Fitcher was down on the ground when he coughs the ball up. Right there, yes, he was.
Down. Good call. Good call by the officials. Second and about 6 from the 13-yard line. The wishbone moving well against this Cardinal defense. Here is Schultz, the keeper. Bobbles it up, loose ball. Who's got it? Big pileup. I think the Cardinals have recovered, but let's wait and see.
It looks like Chris Henderson, the strong safety, is going to get the turnover at about the 11-yard line, and he does.
So there is the first turnover in the game, and a real demoralizing one as far as the Trojans are concerned. Chris Henderson was Johnny on the spot, as you'll see it again. Here is Schultz, knocked loose from the ball right into the paws of Henderson, who fell on it. What a break for Ray Overton's Cardinals. They've got it 1st and 10 from their own 10-yard line. The handoff this time, Brad Knaus keeps on going and across the 20, out to the 22, but they say that his knee touched down on the 20-yard line.
Boy, what a workhorse Knaus is. He's only carried the ball 69 times this year, and obviously Reggie Finch is the runner that's going to get it the most. 185 carries, but Knaus makes the most of his when he gets it.
He definitely is. He is a very solid fullback because he's an excellent blocker. And when he gets that opportunity to carry the ball, he can do a very good job. Finch that time, a little bit of sidestepping as he comes out to the 24-yard line. That will be the first down as far as the Cardinals are concerned. And it gives them a little bit of breathing room out on their 24. Reggie Finch and Brad Knaus, the running backs. Coming in with a play is Eddie Palmer. Palmer in a split end position. Trey Shoemake split out on the other side. This time it is Knaus. Boy, and he doesn't take much. He gets a lot of punishment, doesn't get much yardage. Maybe about 2.5 on the play as he took it straight up the middle.
Vance Burchfield and Jeff Kowalski to make the stop for Trinity, and the running up the middle very tough against the Trojans front four, and the linebackers see a lot of action, very active on the runs, especially on those sweeps around Kowalski, the defensive end.
From the I formation, this is Hillman Johnson going in motion to the far sideline. Long count. Shoemake rolls to his right, looks upfield. Remember, he can run, and that's what he's going to do. The 30, the 35, hit as he comes up to the 37-yard line. No flags on the field. It's another first down for the Cardinals.
Well, you mentioned he can run. He doesn't mind to do it, and he is just as much of a threat as he is to throw the ball because he has a sensational arm. And Richardson has rushed for over 500 yards. Almost 4 yards a carry. He was trying to get the ball downfield, but pretty good coverage, and just went behind the block of Reggie Finch for the first down.
Cardinals have it on their 38-yard line. The ball given to Knaus, hit right at the line of scrimmage. That was the quick handoff to Knaus with the fake of a pitch out to Finch. But the center of the defensive alignment there, Michael Hicks, Jimmy Williams in on the stop. Defensively for the Trojans, they play a 4-3, as do so many of the pro teams. Gingras, Williams, Hicks, and Kowalski, their front four. Kroll, Birchfield, and Bowen are their linebackers. Second down, the pitch out to Finch, timed it very well. Reggie pulls over one would-be tackler across the 45, out to about the 46-yard line.
Well, the thing that made that work so well was the defensive end for Trinity, Peter Gingras, coming in on Richardson, and he committed himself, and that was about the time the pinch went to Finch, and he was able to turn the corner.
Third down and a long one, say the officials. Ball just shy of the 47-yard line. They give it to Finch. He's got the first down and plenty. Reggie with some stutter stepping. He's off to the races and brought down on perhaps a touchdown saving tackle that time. Oh, big stop by Mike Fondra, but not before Finch really carried the ball. We're going to show this one to you again. This is what makes Reggie Finch such a dynamic running back.
Well, just a great piece of running right in the middle right there, and he was gone down the sideline. Once he gets open, he has tremendous speed.
All the way down to the 33-yard line it goes. That's a gain of about 20 on the play. Another first down for the Cardinals. Hillman Johnson in motion. The draw to Reggie Finch down to the 30. Nothing very fancy. This is typical Ray Overton football. Just good, keep it on the ground football. And that's the way that Ray really likes to play it. He never saw a game where he didn't think that the run was really better than the pass. But that also sets up the passing attack. Because Toby Richardson has a very strong arm, as Brian mentioned, and he has accuracy. And they've got some excellent receivers. Here's the pitch back to Finch. Got some blocking. Tries to get away from Fondra. Can't do it. And he's bumped out of bounds at about the 29-yard line. Mike Fondra coming in from that left cornerback position. That's the second time he's put the hit on Reggie Finch.
Eddie Palmer, the wide receiver, was trying to get the block out there. And that is the key on the pitch outside to Finch on a play like that, is the wide receiver able to turn his man inside. And Eddie Palmer had a little bit of trouble that time. Finch couldn't get outside.
3rd and 6 coming up for the Cardinals. Of course, a big play here. Do we smell a pass to the halfback? Nope. Broken play, by the way, as the flags go down. Finch is hit and dropped. But one of the Cardinal offensive linemen jumped off ahead, and I'm sure they're going to call this against the Cardinals. Motion penalty against the Cardinals. The question is, will they say that the play actually took place? And apparently they did. So I would assume now that the Trojans are going to take the play, because there was no gain whatsoever on the play. And that's exactly what's going to happen. It brings down a 4th down situation. Perhaps an attempt at a field goal. I don't know. Ball on the 29-yard line. I don't see Chris Henderson in there, so you just have to believe that the Cardinals are going to go for that first down.
Well,
about 6 yards. Right?
It would be, Bob, about a 46-yard try. Henderson has the leg to make that, and obviously the wind not a factor here, but Coach Ray Overton says the momentum's with them. They'll go.
Let's see if they give it on a pass play to Trey Shoemake. Here's Richardson rolling out. Got a man, and he overthrew him down on the 15-yard line. The pass intended for Shoemake, but it was overthrown. Well, so that's the first time there's Trey.
You had the play called perfectly. Shoemake was running in behind a receiver that had cleared it out down around the 15. And he was open, but you're right. Toby Richardson just had some trouble finding him out there in the flats and overthrew him. That would have been enough for the first down.
We're going to show you a replay here shown from the end zone. I don't know whether you can see that Shoemake is open from the shot, but I'll tell you one thing. Richardson could have really run with this ball and perhaps picked up a first down. Yeah, he really overthrew him, didn't he? And that's a tough pass to make. So the Trojans hold, and they'll see what they can do with the ball. Here is Schultz really being pressured in trouble, and down he goes all the way back on the 21-yard line. Oh, big defensive play that time by the Cardinals, and coming in was Ned Delane from his linebacker position. Delane really putting the hit on Schultz. That's the second big stop by Delane so far in this game. Look at this one. Ned held his position. That's what makes the play. He stood just in his territory and didn't commit himself until he realized that Schultz had the ball, and then he was all over the quarterback. A loss of 8 yards. Second down, Schultz back. He's got men open. Looks to throw, is going to be hit and dropped. Back on the 17-yard line.
John Ferguson with great pressure to get the sack, but Bob, the thing that's making that work up front is outstanding coverage in the secondary. Henderson doing a nice job when they were trying to go deep.
Definitely, and also out there was Quincy Edwards. They had a receiver downfield, but he was double teamed. Suddenly Schultz realized, well, I'm not going to get it to that guy, and before he could make another decision, he was down. A loss of 4 more, 3rd and 22. Nothing very fancy here. They give to the second man through, and he's up to the 23-yard line. So they're playing it kind of close to the vest. B.J. Weaver that time. And the Cardinal defensive unit really can take a bow, because we come up here with a fourth and about a 13 situation. Certainly it would make you think that the Trojans will punt this one away. And that's going to be the end of the quarter. The first quarter comes to an end. MacArthur nothing and Trinity nothing. We'll be back in just a moment. Here we go, all set to do the punting will be Brad Riddell. Quincy Edwards and Mel Lemaine are the two deep men hoping to return this kick. The last time they really couldn't do much at all. Riddell under some pressure, but a beautiful kick. Down it comes to Delane. Fumbles the ball. Let's see who's got it. I think a Cardinal player recovered. Oh, what a break. But let's see. They're still hustling for it. The Cardinals, I do believe, got that football. What a break for the Cardinals.
Wow, that is a huge break. You know, John Riddell, the head coach for Trinity, was saying that, here's a look at it again, we'll see. It looked like Trinity had a great angle on it after it was coughed up right there.
Very nice recovery indeed. That time, I believe that is Sergio Reyes.
Yeah, what a great save. And Riddell was saying that they had no big breaks in last year's game, and that may be what cost them.
Right. Well, Sergio Reyes really helps that time. And an offside's going to be called against the Cardinals. Chris Germany way offsides. So step off 5. Chris a little anxious that time as he was moving from his right tackle position. 1st and 15 for the Cardinals. Awfully lucky that Reyes was able to recover that loose ball. See if the Cardinals open it up a little bit now. Long count here by Toby Richardson. The pitch back goes to Finch. Looks for a block. Gets one. He's to the 35, to the 40. Turns the corner. A flag is down, however. Here is Finch going and is brought down at about the 17-yard line, but I think we're going to have a clipping call against the Cardinals. Let's wait and see. Flag thrown back on about the 38-yard line.
I think Lynn Carter may be the one that's going to be guilty of a clip that'll rub out a tremendous run of some 50-plus yards by Reggie Finch.
Well, that's a heartbreaker for Reggie, because that clip was thrown after Reggie had cleared the area. The man who was bumped had no opportunity whatsoever to stop Finch. Let's see if we can pick up the infraction as they're going to step off the yardage against the Cardinals. Now it's away from the ball, so we don't have it here. But you can see it wasn't anyone who was trying to stop Finch who was impeded with. Heck of a run by Reggie Finch. Boy, he is always a threat. And the Trojans, remember last year when he ran about 30 yards for a touchdown down the near sideline, that just spelled their demise, because it was a 9-7 ball game, and then Finch went to work and just sealed their fate. 1st and 18 for the Cardinals. This is Hillman Johnson in motion. Again, they go to Finch. Got some running room. Drives his way out to the 35-yard line. So he picked up about 8 yards on the play, and that'll give them a 2nd and 10. Reggie Finch running very well off the left side of that line behind the blocks of Carter and Perez. Offensively, and the line, Paul Pascal, Terry Burnett, Mark Gibson, Len Carter, Chris Germany, and Andy Perez are alternating. Richardson looks to pass, got the man open. Here's the pitch back on the lateral to Finch, but they smelled it out and stopped him after a gain of about 1 yard. The pass completed to Trey Shoemake, who then lateraled it back to Finch, the trailing back, and give him a yard gain on the play, and that's it. If memory serves me correctly, that is Toby Richardson's 2nd pass attempt, the 1st completion. We're just about 1 on the play. Boy, that didn't take the Trojans by surprise at all. It looked as if they were anticipating that pass. as well as the lateral. Big rush on Richardson. The hole opens, and off to the races goes Brad Knaus. He's awfully close to a first down. I think he shot. Oh, a fumble, they say, and the Trojans have recovered. That's Darren Arterberry. I credit it to Knaus. It was not. Darren Arterberry, the running back, got about 10 on the play and then coughed up the football.
Well, they took it right away from him, Bob, because there was a huge hole for him right up the middle, and right there is just taken right out of his hands.
Exactly.
Peter Gingras, the defensive end.
How about that for theft? Talk about a pickpocket. Peter Gingras taking it right out of Arterberry's hands. Very heads-up play by Gingras. So the Trojans come rearing back. Here is Schultz going to be stopped after he gets about 1 on the play. Roland Zamorano, first defender in on the play, was dragging him down from behind. Good ball hawking by Zamorano.
Well, he played the option very well. His man was pulling to the right side to help Schultz on the quarterback option, and that time Zamorano showing outstanding quickness and speed to get into the backfield and get the trail and the tackle.
Zamorano, a junior, at 195. Schultz looks to pass, got some running room, going deep downfield. It is overthrown and incomplete, and no flags on the play. So that's just proof that you can pass out of the wishbone, but generally speaking, when you do, you've got to roll out to one side. Not much chance of dropping back and passing. Schultz that time dropping and rolling to the right, planting the foot and then throwing down to the intended receiver, but he overthrew him, and head coach John Riddell awfully upset.
Well, the ball was intended for Brad Riddell down the sideline, but pretty good coverage.
Trojans going to call a timeout here. Apparently, Darren Schultz and head coach John Riddell not too sure on the play. Not that Schultz was questioning it, but I think after he had gotten some words from head coach Riddell and started back in, John Riddell realized that perhaps they would not have time to get that play off. And rather than take a 5-yard penalty, they'll take the timeout, which is the first as far as either team is concerned. That timeout chalked up to the Trojans. 3rd down and about 8 yards to go. The ball on the 45-yard line. Very even game thus far. Trojans had a big fumble that took them away from a scoring opportunity when they were down inside the 15-yard line, only to cough that ball up. Schultz losing it. And then the Cardinals reciprocating when Arterberry had one taken right out of his mitts. Officials want to make sure that everything is set. Now they're satisfied it is, and they whistle the play in. Schultz this time under some pressure, trying to get outside and can't do it. Credit the big rush that time. Boy, Chris Parshall put a big rush on him. He got away from Chris, but then other defenders came in and really put the hit on him. Mike Edwards also.
Well, the thing that's got to work
very well here.
Yeah, for an offense like this is the quarterback has got to be able to run if they're going to run that wishbone to take some heat off the tailbacks. That time they were split out of the wishbone, but well, they have Schultz's number.
Brad Riddell back to do the punting. Edwards and LeMaine back to return the kick. The kick coming to the right side. Fair catch called for and taken on the 12-yard line. And then hit and dropped, and no flag goes down, and the crowd just cannot believe it.
On the fair catch, you're supposed to give them some room there.
Well, he had room to make the catch, but after he made the catch and obviously was not going to return the ball, a Trojan defender just threw him to the ground.
And here's a look at it again. Well, you can't see if he had called much of a fair catch, but the official standing right by him.
Yeah, now they're going to mark it off. They never threw a flag, but I mean, that was so flagrant. And the official who didn't throw the flag, I guess the other official said, "You are kidding. Have you forgotten some part of your equipment?" Okay, step off against the Trojans. Put it out on the 17-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10. And boy, that's just a mental mistake on the part of the Trojans. Have to believe that Trojan player just did not realize that a fair catch had been called for.
Both teams playing outstanding defense, and neither club has been able to cash in on a turnover each. Both teams have fumbled.
1st and 5 as the Cardinals come up to the line of scrimmage. Flags fly. Penalty going to be called, I think, against the Cardinals, but we'll have to wait and see.
Oh, we went through, Bob, most of the first quarter without too many infractions, and then toward the end of the first period and now here into the second quarter, we have seen a lot of yellow flags.
The legal procedure against the Cardinals. So now they're going to have that wraps up that penalty, wipes it away, of hitting the man after he signaled for the fair catch. Cardinals will have a 1st and 10 on about their 11-yard line. They have wide receivers split out left and right, but they're going to go with the running play. They're getting very little at all, maybe about 1 yard, and that is going to be it.
Arterberry running out of the tailback slot now.
He's alternating with Reggie Finch. Head coach Ray Overton said that he would be playing Arterberry some in that tailback position. Arterberry and Knaus are the running backs. Toby Richardson at quarter. Hillman Johnson, the man in motion. They give it to Arterberry. Looks for a block, gets it. 15, 20. Changes his direction as he drives out to the 26-yard line. 1st down. Good run by Darren Arterberry. You know, he really came into his own when Reggie Finch was injured. Arterberry, one of those youngsters that you're so lucky to have because he's a very solid ball player. Just a very intelligent runner. You're going to see other youngsters in high school football who are going to have more physical ability, but Arterberry gets about 120% with the ability that he has. He really is an overachiever. He does a lot better than you think that he would be, blessed with the talents that he has. A 1st down for the Cardinals.
They're getting some outstanding blocking now up front. That last time, Perez and Pascal led the way for Arterberry to get 13.
Arterberry and Knaus, the running backs, they give it to Knaus. He is hit standing up. Whoa. Nothing there. Got back to the line of scrimmage, and then he was really creamed. Jimmy Williams, the left tackle, in on the stop, number 63. There's Williams going back in there with some of his teammates. Gingras, by the way, number 16, is at end. He's the defensive end who stole the ball away from Arterberry just a few minutes ago. They're going to give Knaus 1 yard on that play, make it 2nd and 9. Richardson looks to pass under pressure, gets the pass away and completes it for the 1st and 10. Very nice play that time by Toby Richardson as he completed the pass to Drew Randall.
That was a sensational pass because Richardson had some offense will do. It really grinds out the clock, and that could be a factor later on in the game if we get into a ball control and someone sitting on a lead or possibly trying to get back into the game.
Darren Schultz hands off to the second man, breaks the tackle, keeps on going, and just moves inside the 15-yard line. That's John Skinner. Refused to be taken down. One Cardinal defender grabbed him by the jersey, but Skinner was able to pull away and fight his way to the 15 for another 1st and 10.
Well, he's had a tough night, been sacked a couple of times. That is 9 carries. Well, actually, it was a quick hitter in the middle that gave it to Skinner. I'm sorry, I thought Schultz had it, but Schultz is having some problems with quarterback running the ball, but Skinner on a nice trap play got the big yardage.
This time they go through the center of the line on a dive play. B.J. Weaver gets about 3. If we have a field goal attempt here by the Trojans, and of course they're not thinking field goal right now, they're thinking touchdown, but should we have a field goal attempt, it will be done by Brad Riddell, who is the son of head coach John Riddell. He is the wide receiver, plays the split end position, does all the kicking for this Trojan team. 2nd and 7, some hesitation by the defensive unit for the Cardinals. Looked like they missed some assignments. Here is, very fortunately for the Cardinals, the running back being tripped up. That was Sonny Fitcher, because the hole was there. If Fitcher had retained his balance, he could conceivably have gone in for the touchdown. But he was tripped up and dropped just shy of the 9-yard line. 3rd and 5 from that point as far as time is concerned. 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And the Trojans taking advantage of the second fumble by Darren Arterberry, knocking on the door. Big play coming up right here for both teams. Schultz on the keeper, tripped up and dropped on the 9-yard line. He was knocked down by a combination of his own man and a Cardinal defender as he was trying to get up and above both of them. Jason Lowe from the outside linebacking position collided with a would-be blocker. Down they both went, and Schultz went down in the pile too as he was tripped up. Now Schultz is going to call for a timeout, and we're going to have a meeting of the minds. We've got 4th down, ball on the 9-yard line, 4th and about 4. You would think that they would go for the field goal attempt, but you never know. To get the 1st down, they're going to have to pick up 4 yards. To get the touchdown, they need 9. Riddell is a good kicker. He certainly has the leg to boot one this distance, because it would not be that long a kick, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it will be very interesting to see what they decide here in a game that has been dominated by the defenses. We have had 3 turnovers, and the closest right now that anyone's been to the goal line. I know it's very tempting to go for it, but you've played almost 2 quarters and there's no score. And in a game that looks to be very defensive-minded, any kind of points could be valuable, and apparently Riddell thinks so, and he's going to go for the 3.
Brad Riddell putting the kicking tee down on the 16-yard line. This will be a 26-yard attempt. There's the spot. The kick is up high enough, long enough, and the kick is good. And the Trojans draw first blood. They lead it 3-0 with 2 minutes and 2 seconds remaining to go in the first half. Brad Riddell, a 26-yard field goal, and that was set up by the fumble by Darren Arterberry. So the turnover spells 3 points for the Trojans. Boy, this has been a defensive-oriented ball game thus far.
It really has, and that fumble, obviously the big key there at the 44-yard line, allowing Trinity to get the ball back, and the first time that they have shown any signs of being able to get that wishbone offense going, and it looked pretty good. Now they have split out in some variations of the wishbone here in the first half, but they stayed pretty much to it on that 44-yard drive, and a couple of big plays on the triple option worked well for them, and they were able just to run the ball down the field and then finally get the field goal. And at this point, that's looking pretty good when you play all the way down to 2 minutes to go in the half, and the first chance to get a score, they get the 3.
The Cardinals have got some burners back there. The triple return men in the middle, Reggie Finch. To his right, Darren Arterberry, and to his left, Quincy Edwards. We did a game earlier this year, as you recall, Brian, where Reggie Finch took a kickoff on about his 3-yard line and ran it all the way back for a touchdown. They just formed a wedge in front of him. Had about 5 blockers in front of him, and he broke through that wedge at about the 25-yard line and just outran everyone. And, of course, obviously, he'd like to see history repeat. Don't think that the Trojans are not aware of that. Riddell will be kicking off, and I'm sure he would like to keep the ball away from Finch. And he does. It's coming over to Arterberry, who takes it on the 10-yard line, looks to go up the center of the field and changes his mind and comes out to about the 27-yard line. So the Cardinals have the ball on their own 27-yard line. Time-wise, 1:57 seconds remaining here in the first half. Timeouts, as far as the Cardinals are concerned, they've got all three. The Trojans have one left. Well, conceivably, we might see the Cardinals open it up a little bit here. And, of course, I'm sure the Trojans are thinking about that. Reggie Finch with the ball. Reggie to the 30, the 35. Got a man to get around, can't do it, and he's brought down on the 42-yard line. And bringing him down again is old nemesis Mike Bondra, the left cornerback. But a good run by Finch of 15 yards in the first down.
He did an outstanding move once he got into the secondary. Watch the move he puts on the defensive back right there and evades that tackle. He got by Baker and was able to get 4 more yards.
A gain of 15, first and 10 for the Cardinals. The clock is rolling. Again, they give it to Finch. Looks for blockers and then is hit and dropped. Reggie slowed down there trying to figure out which way to go. And sneaking up from behind him on the blind side and then bringing him down was Michael Hicks.
I don't think he ever saw Hicks. He was trying to find out what to do upfield and find some running room. And he saw Hicks, he finally found Hicks come in from behind him and pull him down.
Yeah, Hicks kind of sneaked up behind him and just dropped him. Reggie got 2 on the play. The Cardinals have called a timeout. They'll have 2 more timeouts. They've got the ball on their 44-yard line. 1:27 seconds remaining.
After a slow start, Finch is up to 70 yards on 10 carries. That was after having 4 yards on his first 4 carries, but he has been able to break some big ones and get into the open field.
To show you what a fine play that was by Michael Hicks, he is a defensive lineman. He is the right tackle in this 4-3 defense, and he just fought off the blocker and then came from behind Finch and dropped him after Reggie got about 2 yards on the play. Again, it's Reggie Finch across the 45 out to the 47. Not much there. And the Trojans say, hey, that's fine. You just continue to do it that way because we'll give you those kind of plays all you want. Trojans hoping that the clock will run down. We're coming close to the 1-minute mark. Here's Richardson looking to pass. Got a man wide open. Hits him. Shoemake to the 40, the 35. He's out of bounds on the 32-yard line. Trey Shoemake knocked out of bounds on the 32 where it's a 1st and 10. And brother, he was wide open. Really a well-conceived play by the Cardinals. And by getting out of bounds, obviously they stopped the clock, saved themselves a timeout. 1:03 remaining. The ball down on the 32-yard line. Remember, the Cardinals have moved it from their 27 now down to the Trojan 32. Richardson rolls right, looks to pass, got another man open and overshoots him. That was Trey Shoemake again, who had outmaneuvered the defender John Ellick. But the ball was overthrown down at about the 20-yard line. Shoemake really using some class moves here.
He's the guy they like to go to when they need a big play. Of course, outside of Reggie Finch. Finch can bust you one from the line of scrimmage. But when they go upstairs, Shoemake, who has some great moves and sensational hands, can get the ball for it. He did a nice job a couple plays ago getting out of bounds and keeping the Cardinals from having to use a timeout.
Richardson rolls to the right under some pressure. Now he's going to turn the field. Richardson 30, 25, 20, down to the 15 and knocked out of bounds. Let's see where they say he stepped out on the 15-yard line. That's where the speed of Toby Richardson comes in. He's got the speed of the halfback, and he also has the deception as well. So Richardson rambles for 18 yards and a first down, and the Cardinals knocking on the door now. This is just great ad-libbing by Richardson. See the pressure? He just moves back to the line, and here's where he puts on the speed, and then a very good deceptive move as he moves inside the 20 and stepped out of bounds on the 15, where it's 1st and 10 from that point. Now they have Reggie Finch in a wing position as a potential receiver. Brad Knaus is the lone running back. Knaus throws the block. Man open, hit and dropped on the 12-yard line. They played it to Reggie Finch. A gain of just 3 yards. Again, Mike Bondra all over Reggie Finch, and the Cardinals call timeout.
Well, that play was pretty close to being pass interference. Bondra hit Finch right as the ball got there, and it was very close. No flags on the play, and with the catch, Finch gets about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7, and they have 40 seconds to work to get the first down or the touchdown.
I would not be surprised to see them use this formation again. Let's go back and show you this play. That's a nice block that time. And boy, you're right, Brian. It looked as Finch might have been hit just before he got the ball, but it was awfully close. I would not be surprised to see them use this formation again, but this time put Finch in the end zone, send him into the end zone.
Yeah, you have 40 seconds, and the ball is at the 11-yard line, so you're obviously well in the range of Henderson for a field goal try. So right now you want to try to get into that blue carpet area, get into the score.
And remember, Richardson can run too. He's always a threat to do that. So saying, he pitches back to Finch, who is going to be overwhelmed and knocked out of bounds on about the 10. Gain of about 1. It'll give us 3rd and 6. Time-wise, 36 seconds remaining. So time right now really not a factor. What we're saying, this is the play where you try and do one of two things. You go for the touchdown, or you try and pick up the first down. Failing to do either of those, then you call on Chris Henderson for the field goal attempt.
Well, they'll probably go in there now on 3rd down.
Now they've got Finch in a wing position to the left. Watch him go into the end zone. Let's see. Here is Richardson rolling. Richardson passing down, and it's tipped. Touchdown! Trey Shoemake taking the tip pass out of the hands of a Trojan defender, and what a break for the Cardinals. Oh, I'll tell you, you'd rather be lucky than good, and the Cardinals were awfully lucky that time because they had 2 potential receivers in the same area, and usually you like to just isolate one receiver on one defender. It didn't turn out that way. Shoemake and Finch very close to one another, so the 2 defenders were there. The ball was batted up in the air, and Shoemake made the catch. Here is Henderson's try for point. It's good. With 30 seconds remaining, the Cardinals have driven 73 yards. The touchdown play, Richardson to Trey Shoemake, and the point added by Henderson. Oh, my goodness. Let's see if we can show you this one again. I'm sure our technical crew busy trying to cue up this instant replay, and that's what makes I think television so exciting. The marvelous technical resources that the industry has come up with, and instant replay being one of them. So saying, let's see if we can see it again.
I tell you, that was very close to being a 100-yard interception return.
Right.
He had a lot of room to run if Finch hadn't or I'm sorry, if Shoemake hadn't got it. Boy, tipped right off the hands of Bryce Reynolds.
Yes. Old Bryce is, you know, he is just dying 1,000 deaths. This is the way it looks from the goal line. Tipped right in the hands of Shoemake. Says, hey, thank you so much.
Reynolds may have been so surprised when he turned around and saw the ball right in his hands. And that, boy, they hit him right in the numbers. A nice pass, hit right to him, but he just tipped it up. Instead of knocking it down, he did try to go for the interception, tipped it up, and that went right to Shoemake behind him. So they go to the length of the field after the field goal by Trinity, and the short kick returned to about the 27, and the Cardinals did a nice job. Their best offensive drive of the night, obviously, hitting a couple of big pass plays and then getting it down in close and cashing it in on the tip pass.
Bryce Reynolds, I'm sure, is awfully disappointed right now. Henderson to kick off. The Trojans hoping that they can get a very good return. But it's going to be a squib kick. High hop. Picked up by a Trojan player who's brought down on the 30-yard line. Boy, those are always tough to return. That was Curtis McDade getting the football and bringing it out to the 30. That only ate up 3 seconds. But one of the things that it did, it negated a big run back. Now, don't be surprised to see some razzle-dazzle plays here out of this wishbone formation. I wouldn't be, well, one thing you might look for, perhaps, if they do have it in their playbook, would be a flea flicker. although they may play it close to the vest. But knowing John Riddell, I sometimes wonder about that. The handoff goes to the second man through, as they do play it very close to the vest that time. That's John Skinner. John with a 4-yard pickup. The clock continues to go, and so perhaps John Riddell, with just one timeout left, figures let's just kill the clock and go into the dressing room and kind of say, woe is me, and they're just going to let the clock roll down. And now Riddell, I think, wants to call a timeout, and does. 4 seconds left, and he calls the timeout.
Oh,
and, you know, you really want, it makes no sense, because if you're going to call a timeout, you want to call it with as much time remaining, not as little time remaining. This just means that, barring a penalty, you've only got one play left. I think Riddell that time just wanted to let the clock go down, and then had second thoughts in his own mind and figured, well, what the heck, we'll call the timeout. Maybe we can come up with something.
Well, they're going to have 4 seconds, and Schultz, who can throw the ball pretty well, you would expect to have him look for Riddell, who they've tried to link up with a couple of times tonight. So far, Schultz unofficially is 1 of 4 for 7 yards.
Yeah, he has been under some pressure. As you can tell by the attire of the fans here, it is cool tonight. Really great football weather. Boy, this is what it is all about. These are some of the memories that you never forget from your high school days, going out to the big football games, especially the playoff games. Now, what a thrill it is for these youngsters to be playing here at the home of the Dallas Cowboys. Brad Riddell split out wide to the left. Schultz drops back. Now the bounce pass incomplete, and that's going to be it. John Skinner. Is there a flag down on the field? Yeah, there is. Holding is going to be the call against the Trojans, but I really think that the Cardinals are safe to get it. And they do. That's going to be the end of the first half. It's all over. It's history now. Our score, the Cardinals of Irving MacArthur 7, the Trinity Trojans 3. We'll be back in just a moment.
In the end zone.
Yeah, I think one of the things that it shows is that MacArthur under Ray Overton is a very opportunistic team. This is a team that can take advantage of some breaks, and they can sometimes make their own breaks. Now they're down with about less than 2.5 minutes to go. Got to move the ball 73 yards, and that's exactly what they do. No penalties. They don't get any breaks from the other team as far as penalties against the other team. They just move the ball with ease.
All right, the Cardinals of MacArthur up 7-3 over Trinity at halftime. Now let's take you down to the field for the halftime activities. got in front of Euless Trinity in the first round of the UIL State High School Playoffs 7-3. And the Cardinals getting the touchdown late in the second quarter. We're very happy to be able to bring you this broadcast tonight in the first round of the playoffs. Gerald Stavely, 1 hour Martinizing and dry cleaning. He has been with us throughout the season. Irving Community Hospital as well. Your well-being is our concern. And by Sawyer Sporting Goods. The Irving High School and the MacArthur High School booster clubs helping in our sponsoring. And we're very happy to welcome a new sponsor. Headquarters Haircrafts Unlimited, 1316 South Story. We thank very much our sponsors enabling us to bring you the game tonight. Once we give you the statistical breakdown, there's a look at it, and you see how the Cardinals have dominated in the first half in total yards, certainly in rushing, much of that behind Reggie Finch, who is up to 74 yards. And of course, passing, Trey Shoemake has been the favorite receiver of Toby Richardson. He has the touchdown, and 193 yards to just 73 for Trinity. They have 3 points, and they got that on the field goal after the fumble. 5 of 7 for Richardson tonight, 1 of 5 for Schultz. And fumbles, you see the Cardinals have fumbled it twice, one of those leading to the Trinity field goal, and Trinity with a fumble as well. We'll give you how it scored here in the first half. Brad Riddell, the son of head coach John Riddell for Trinity, getting the Trojans on the board first. This is 26 yards out. 2 minutes and 2 seconds to play. And the 26-yard field goal gave Trinity the 3-0 lead. That was after the fumble at the 44. But now the Cardinals, who drove all the way down, and at the 10, this tremendous play, a tip by Bryce Reynolds into the end zone, who would have had all day to run if he would have been able to hold on to it. This is from the ground level. Look at that, right off his fingertips and into Trey Shoemake, who has 3 catches in the first half. 3 catches for 32 yards and the touchdown. And there's Chris Henderson, who has only been able to kick it 1 extra point, and he would have been coming on. That was a 3rd down play, by the way, on the touchdown when Shoemake scored, and they were at the 10. Obviously thinking if they did not get it into the end zone on that play, that Henderson would have come on to try to tie the game up at the end of the first half, but they were fortunate to get the tip. Max Turk. Cardinals like playing here at Texas Stadium. Did very well, of course, against Trinity a year ago in by district. Talked about that at the start of the game. 16-7 Cardinals winning here in November of '85. Also playing at Texas Stadium back in '83, but not so fond of memories that time as the Trojans beat the Cardinals 35-13. Darren Arterberry, who has 32 yards, you see, in the first half, and some of that, and well, most of that has come from the tailback position. He normally starts at the wing back when Finch is in there, but we have mentioned that Ray Overton has said that he will play Arterberry at the tailback some tonight, and he has quite a bit there in the first half, giving Reggie a rest. Arterberry has produced quite well. Brad Knaus, the fullback, has 5 carries for 14 yards. So look at the Cardinals, who have the 4-point lead, and as we expected, it was going to be a defensive matchup. Both of these teams played very good defense. And we talked about offensively how each team had only seen that type of an offense once. The I formation from MacArthur, Trojans had just seen it once, and the wishbone, the Cardinals had just seen it once. Prior to the year, or prior to the game, John Riddell had said that he expected it would take 3 or 4 touchdowns to win this game. Might be thinking a little bit differently now after the defensive showing in the first half. He had said he thought that his team needed 2 or 3 touchdowns a week ago to win their season finale, regular season finale. So we'll see if the second half changes any. Reggie Finch certainly a key to the Cardinal attack, as he always is. He had a slow start. He only had 4 yards in his first 4 carries, but then got untracked and had a 15-yard carry and a 12, as well as the big 30-yard gain there in the first half, and he's up to 74 yards. The Cardinals will get the ball to start the second half, and they will have Finch, Otterberry, and Quincy Edwards will be deep to receive in their traditional three-man deep. Now, the only time that the Trojans have kicked for the night, they have kicked it away from Reggie Finch. We'll see what they do this time. Riddell will be the kicker. There's a look at the Trojans sideline. Brad Riddell, who does all the kicking chores for Trinity, not only the punting but place kicking as well. Had the 26-yarder, pretty good kicker, soccer style kicker, and his 26-yarder had plenty of room to spare, so they may call upon him later on tonight. All right, second half ready to go. To bring you the play-by-play, Bob Berry.
Thank you very much, Brian, and we're all set as Riddell approaches the ball and kicks one down toward Darren Arterberry. Darren has it back across the 20. Stutter steps across the 25 and comes up to about the 29-yard line. First and 10 for the Cardinals on the 29. You might remember the last time Arterberry took a kickoff, he ran it back to the 27. Then the Cardinals moved 73 yards for the only touchdown in this game. Let's see if history can repeat itself. Arterberry returning this kick to the 29. Finch and Knaus are the running backs. Toby Richardson at quarter. From the I formation. The ball to Reggie Finch. Looks for a block, gets one, then just puts his head down and bruises his way out to the 35-yard line. A gain of 6. A sweep picking up 6 yards for Finch. And it's 2nd and 4.
Chris Germany, the tackle, enabled that to go for the Cardinals. They have a super offensive front, very big, very powerful, but quick feet, and that time Germany helped get the block turned inside for Finch.
Germany, a senior, 215-pounder. 2nd and 4 play for Irving MacArthur. Look at that, Knaus go. First down and then some. Across the 45, out to the 47-yard line goes Brad Knaus, a pickup of 12.
Nothing fancy about that play. They went straight forward. The quick hitter, and that worked so well for the Cardinals because the defense is key so much on Reggie Finch, and he is such a tall back, and Knaus gets down so low that it works very well. There's just a quick hitter and super blocking inside as Burnett turned it inside along with Carter.
He had a great hole to run to, didn't he? First and 10. The ball again to Knaus as he hurdles across the 50 and is down to about the 47-yard line. A pickup that time by Brad Knaus of 6 on the play. Spotted on the 48.
This is the vintage Cardinal offense. They really like to grind it, as do the Trojans from the wishbone, but Cardinals really like to run the ball with Finch, and if Knaus starts to pick up some yardage, Finch should be that much more dangerous.
Shoemake and Johnson are the receivers. This is Johnson coming in motion to the far sideline. Reggie Finch gets the call. Oh, he's off to the races. Tremendous hole as Reggie is inside the 35 down to about the 33-yard line. A pickup of 15 yards. Finch has now run for 95 yards.
Well, he's got to credit that offensive line for some super blocking. Mark Gibson, Lynn Carter, and Chris Germany over there on that right side, really opening the hole, and a lead block from Knaus.
Blocking is the name of the game, and that's what the Cardinals are doing right now. Their offensive line really clicking. Again, the call to Finch, going to be hit and dropped for a loss of 1 yard. Coming in, putting tremendous pressure on him was James Bowen, the right outside linebacker. A loss of 1. They're trying a power sweep to the left, and had Finch been able to get some running room, he might have really picked up some distance, but Bowen denied him that opportunity. We have 2 wide receivers split out to the right. Johnson and Trey Shoemake. Shoemake, remember, with the touchdown catch. Richardson in some trouble. Going to be hit and dropped before he can come back to the line of scrimmage. Has good penetration put on that time by James Bowen once again. Richardson dropped back on the 36-yard line.
By that time, he wanted to go deep to Hillman Johnson, who was down the right sideline, but very good coverage by the Trinity defense. Vondra and Reynolds, along with Baker deep, had Johnson covered, nowhere to go.
Do the Cardinals put it in the air? Richardson with the deep drops, got a man open, and he hits him, and then the ball is dropped. It's Trey Shoemake, who on a post pattern was open on the 23-yard line. Had he been able to hold on to the ball, that was a first down.
Well, they hit him right in the numbers. Shoemake, who had run a nice post pattern over the middle, was open, and Richardson did a great job of laying it right in there on his numbers.
John Bryant back to do the kicking. Trey Shoemake thinking, oh boy, if I could have only held on to that one. But he'll have other opportunities. Bryant now just looking for a soft kick. He doesn't want to boom it into the end zone. Gets it up high, and it fades and goes out of bounds. Let's see, on the 26-yard line is where they're going to spot the ball. Well, that's a kick of just about 10 yards.
Yeah, not exactly what he wanted. He was angling for the flag over there, trying to be a little bit delicate with that kick, and pulled up short.
A break for the Trojans. They are not pinned down deep in their own territory. They have reasonable field position. They're down by 4 points, 7-3. The handoff this time goes to John Skinner, and he is met quickly, and a flag flies after the play, so it looks like a dead ball foul. The officials now conferring, and one of the Trojan players says it's going to be called against the Cardinals, and it is. Grabbing the face mask.
Not really sure who that was against. Scott Carpenter was on the bottom of the pile for the Cardinals. The face mask, that's a tough call there, because they had Skinner to stop for no gain.
So instead of 2nd and 10, the Trojans have a 1st and 5. Those penalties can hurt you, and at the same time can help you if they're assessed against your opponents. Obviously, they hurt you if they're called against you. 1st and 5 for the Trojans on their 31-yard line. Darren Schultz is their quarterback. Here is the counter play with the handoff going to Sonny Fitcher. They faked to the fullback and then came back to Fitcher, who carried it out to the 34-yard line, a gain of 3. 2nd and 2 from that point. Cardinal defense really, Brian, has looked very sharp. They have contained the Trojans.
They've done well against the wishbone, which is a tough offense to defend against because of so many options. Schultz under pressure, got a man open and overthrows him. He had Weaver floating out from the backfield, and he was open on the 40-yard line, but Schultz just overthrew him. He had Ned Delane right in his face and had to unload it in a hurry, and he did a nice job of really just getting the ball because they had tremendous pressure over there.
Boy, Ned Delane has played some game. He really has. Actually, that's a good call by John Riddell, simply because if the pass was incomplete, which indeed it was, you still have only 2 yards to pick up on a 3rd down play. Schultz gives the ball to the fullback, who dives, and he does not get the 1st down. That is Weaver, who just gets across the 35 out to the 36. I believe he should be short by about half a yard. Well, they give him a good spot. They spot it across the 36.
That'll be close. They are going to call for the measurement here. And with the spot that he did get, they might have it by the nose. We'll see.
Yeah, they've got it. They've got the 1st down. Weaver produces the 1st down, and that is the Trojans' initial 1st down here in the 2nd half. 7:29, the clock rolling in the 3rd quarter. The Cardinals of Irving MacArthur in front of the Trinity Trojans by a count of 7-3. Brad Riddell split wide to the left. Quincy Edwards, the defender there. Schultz's pass incomplete, as again he was trying to hit Weaver on a crossing pattern.
And who else did he have but Delane and Ferguson? heavy pressure on Schultz, and he just had to dump it off in a hurry. That is one thing that they've had Weaver out there in that flats, but Schultz just doesn't have time to throw it because of the pressure.
And Weaver has been open on both attempts. He has outrun the defender. But as you mentioned, Schultz is just really throwing the ball for his life. You know, get rid of it quickly before I take the loss. Schultz on a keeper, grabbed from behind and dropped on the 40-yard line. That time Schultz on a set play had blockers in front of him, but a Cardinal defender infiltrated the blocking wall and grabbed Schultz around the ankles and brought him down after he had picked up about 3 yards. 3rd and 7, a big play here for the Trojans. Obviously also a big play for the Cardinals. Riddell comes to the near sideline, and there is Quincy Edwards right up against him again. That's been quite a matchup thus far in this game. Here is Schultz going to carry the ball, and he'll get absolutely nowhere. Maybe a yard or so, but he needed 7.
Well, the Cardinals did a super job of playing the option that time, and one of the first things you have to do is to force the quarterback. Got to make him make a decision whether to run or to toss, and they had so much pressure up there so quickly, Schultz could only just take the ball and tuck it.
They really contained him well. Edwards and LeMaine are the return men. Brad Riddell, who's gotten off some good kicks, wants to do it again and does. This time's the Quincy Edwards. Edwards faking the handoff, now runs up and is dropped on the 30-yard line. They fake the reverse to the lane, and Edwards carries it back to the 30, where it will be 1st and 10. So credit again that Cardinal defense with stopping the Trinity Trojans dead in their tracks.
It's another look at the punt return. The Cardinals having a play on the return. It is the fake reverse, and Edwards had a little bit of blocking up front, but pretty good coverage down there by Trinity.
Edwards returned it for about 8 yards. Now we're back live. Reggie Finch twisted down, gets maybe about 1 yard. Boy, that's the way to stop any kind of a running back. Just grab them around the ankles and down they'll go. And that is exactly what happened on that one. A gain of 1 for Reggie.
Reggie is up to 16 carries, 93 yards tonight.
Michael Hicks, the defensive right tackle, in on that stop. 2nd and 9. The ball on the 31-yard line. Cardinals operate out of the I formation. Here is Richardson rolling with all the room to run. 30, 35, big gain here. 40, up to the 50, all the way down to the 48-yard line in Trinity's end of the field. That just opened up beautifully, and Toby Richardson, who is a fine athlete, took advantage of it. That's a gain of 21 yards and a 1st down.
Well, we had talked at the start what a great runner he was, that he had over 500 yards rushing for the year and a 4-yard carry. Well, this is a quarterback option all the way, and he had run written on. He got a nice block by the center, Mark Gibson, to get 5 or 6 more yards.
The pitch out goes to Reggie Finch, running in trouble, and down he goes on the 45. Didn't get much at all. It just threw his body into one of the defenders, driving the defender back, and then Reggie hit the terra firma. A pickup of 3 and 2nd and 7. This is Ray Overton football, control football. Darren Arterberry coming in. Reggie Finch limping a little bit as he comes off, and of course that's bad news for the Cardinals. He's had that bruised knee throughout most of this campaign. This time Brad Knaus gets the call. Brad to about the 43-yard line.
There's a look at Reggie trying to loosen up that knee. She has really battled in and out. Has had a great night, closing in on 100 yards, but that knee now starting to bother him a little bit.
Reggie's just walking down around the sidelines, walking pretty briskly. 3rd and 4 for the Cardinals. Arterberry and Knaus, the running backs. Darren Arterberry hit right about the line of scrimmage. No gain. And the Cardinals going to bring on their kicking team. So hats off here to the defensive unit for the Trojans.
Yeah, the second half off to pretty much the same way the game started. Teams exchanging punts. Very good defense.
John Bryant to do the booting. Baker, the return man. Good high snap. The rush on. Bryant gets it up. The ball starts fading at about the 30-yard line and bounces back toward the Cardinals. Goes out of bounds on the 33. So again, just a 10-yard punt by Bryant. Boy, those things can kill you. He's punted twice now in this half. On both occasions, the ball is carried for just 10 yards. It hangs up there in the air and then just starts dying and then bounces back.
And those people have the right idea.
They really do.
Chilly out here tonight. Two very short punts by Bryant, now giving the Trojans yet good field position again.
Off to the races this time, B.J. Weaver. Good run by B.J. Close to the 43-yard line and close to the first down. And I believe they're going to bring in the chains. There you see them working on Reggie Finch, retaping that ankle. Boy, a trainer is worth his weight in gold in this game.
Especially on a night like tonight. Got to be careful for a lot of pulled muscles. Very cool night. You got to be able to make sure that you stay loose. Now Reggie's been battling that problem for some time. The sticks stretched and they're a little bit short. So they give them about 9 yards on the carry.
Sometimes that is an advantage when you have second and inches, because you can really gamble on this play. Maybe go for the bomb or go for something other than a 3 or 4 yard gain type play, realizing that if you don't make it, you still have third down and inches. We're inside the 3-minute mark here in the third quarter.
Might see them try something here on second and short. I don't know. They're in the wishbone.
Schultz rolls to the right, looks downfield. He's under pressure and he's going to be cleaned down on the 34-yard line. A loss of 9 on the play.
Well, you mentioned that with the short yardage that it's a good time to try to throw something. And they had 3 receivers deep, but the Cardinals had super coverage. And the front 4 pressure has just been unrelenting. Who else back there but Delane?
Yeah, Ned Delane, number 47. When this game is over and Schultz takes off his uniform, I think he's going to have 4-7 tattooed on his body. Boy, Delane has really played a game. I mean, he has been all over this field, certainly making the life of one Darren Schultz unbearable. Third down. Cardinals show a big rush. Here comes the blitz. Schultz gets the ball off. The pass is underthrown and incomplete. The ball intended for Sonny Pitcher, running step for step, was Quincy Edwards. Actually, Pitcher had a step on Edwards, but the ball was underthrown.
Yeah, he really did. He had gotten behind Edwards, and if they would have had a little bit on that, that could have been a big pickup, maybe a score for Trinity. But Schultz just doesn't get enough on this one. He had his man out there a step behind Edwards, but underthrows him.
Brad Riddell again to do the punting. He has done this so well tonight. Cardinals set up the return. Here's another nice high boomer. LeMaine, the ball carrier, to the 30. On to the 37-yard line, and very nice return by young Mr. Mel LeMaine. LeMaine takes it out to the 37-yard line.
Yeah, a sensational return, man. He was buried back about the time they tried to get the fake going, and he did a lot of this on his own. You mentioned Riddell with another super kick. He turns it over and almost right there, and then he breaks a couple of more tackles before he staggers on up 5, 6, 7 more yards.
So it's 1st and 10 for the Cardinals from their 37-yard line. Reggie Finch back in the game. Good news for Cardinal fans. That's Reggie with the ball. Turns the corner on the right. 40-45 will come to the midfield stripe. All the way down the 46-yard line and Trinity's end of the field. That's a first down.
Oh, he put a sensational move on the safety, John Ellick, who had come up from the safety spot to make the play, and a little head fake by Reggie, and he was able to get outside. We'll see if we can see number 15 for Trinity coming up and trying to force the play right there, and he goes outside. He got a good block as well to get around the corner.
First and 10 on the 46. A gain of 17 yards. Another first down for the Cardinals. Finch now over the 100-yard mark.
113.
Brad Knaus off to the races. Look at Brad go inside the 35, down to about the 34-yard line. Boy, this is going to be close to. He's got the first down, picks up about 12. Knaus, we'll show you again. Finch and Knaus really complement each other. Beautiful hole there. Oh, just a magnificent block that time. I believe that was Terry Burnett.
Yeah, and Mark Gibson
off. Oh, just super. First and 10 for the Cardinals. The ball on the Trinity 34-yard line. Knaus again. Knaus to the 30. Knaus to the 27-yard line.
You know, anytime you see the running backs, both the fullback and the tailback, able to get yardage like they are, Finch going wide and Knaus up the middle, you know that the offensive line is really blowing some holes open. And you can't say enough for Pascal and Burnett, Gibson, Carter, Germany, Perez, all those guys who've been in there tonight have really done the job.
That they have. They have been the difference in this ball game. No doubt about it. The offensive line really clicking. Reggie Finch submarined and dropped, and a flag is thrown. I believe the Trojans may have been offside. They had a man who was coming. Now, maybe he just timed that snap perfectly, and then again, maybe he didn't. Let's see what the call is going to be. Indication is it'll be against Trinity. So that young man who broke through was just a pad too early. And you know the Cardinals are going to take this penalty. No doubt about it. We'll show it to you again.
There's Finch caught in the backfield, and yeah, with the obviously will not take the play, and taking the penalty will give the Cardinals the first down at about, well, they're going to mark it at just inside the 24, and I should say give them, it's going to be very close. They may mark it. Well, they're going to measure.
Well, let's see if indeed they will. The head linesman talking to the referee. No, it is a first down. So we will not need the measurement. First down number 6 to show you what an even running attack the Cardinals have had here in the second half. In the second half, Finch has carried for 40 yards. Knaus has carried for 37. And to add insult to injury, Richardson's picked up 18. The ball just inside the 24-yard line. First and 10 for the Irving Cardinals. And that is the end of the third quarter. So a scoreless third quarter, but certainly a good one for the Cardinals. And after 3 quarters of play, it's MacArthur 7 and Trinity 3. Back in just a moment. Of the fourth quarter, the Cardinal ball, first and 10 from the 24-yard line. Richardson fakes the handoff, looks the pass, being chased now, throws into the end zone, got a man open, and he can't quite get to the football. That's Johnson.
Toby Richardson did a sensational job of keeping that play alive because it was starting to break down, and the Trojans had 3 in the backfield. And Richardson is so mobile back there that he just changed directions, and watch him get into some problems here. Goes the other way and has a great arm trying to get it to Johnson, who had beaten 2 men into the end zone.
That's what athletic ability is all about. It makes such a difference. And Richardson, an outstanding athlete, and second and 10 from the 24-yard line. Richardson pitches out the Finch, the 20, the 15, down to the 13. Fumbles, but only after he was down. Looks from here as if Reggie's got the first down. And he does.
Finch at 124 yards for the night. And the option play for the Cardinals seems to be working very, very well. And they're starting to get those receivers open deep, which means that the Trojans are starting to play up close to the line, trying to guard Finch.
That's a penetration by the Cardinals. They now have 2. Both teams with 2 penetrations. Richardson on the keeper. He dives forward to the 10-yard line. He's got a gain of 3. So the Cardinals just grinding it out. When it comes to this type of football, this is really Ray Overton's forte. He really loves to keep the ball on the ground. But he has some excellent receivers. He's got a quarterback who can throw, and that just really complements the running game because they can always burn you on that pass play. From the 10-yard line, Brad Knaus gets the call, breaks 1-2 tackles, gets down to about the 7 before he's finally driven back. Knaus is just a hard-driving fullback, no doubt about it. He's a 185-pounder. He is just a junior. They spot the ball on the 8-yard line. A gain of 2 for Knaus. He now has 39 yards picked up in this half. It's 3rd and 6. The ball on the 8. Watch Richardson because he's the key man on this play. I think we're going to see him roll to the left. But let's just wait and see. Nope. Gives to Finch, who goes to the left. To the 5. Dives to about the 4-yard line. For a moment, it looked as if Reggie might go. Let's see where they're going to spot the football.
Yeah, Finch saw an opening there and start to cut upfield before he ran into Jeff Kowalski, the defensive end. And he just saw a little bit of an opening before he got in there. And now the Cardinals will call timeout.
Boy, this is one that you really have to think about. Do you go for the first down and possibly the touchdown? Or do you go for what would seem to be a pretty easy field goal? A lot of soul searching going on right now. Now the Cardinals realize that if they go for the field goal, then they've got a 7-point lead. If they go for the first down and don't make it, they leave the Trojans deep in their own end of the field. I would see them really go for the first down, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, especially where the ball is. I mean, it's at the 3-yard line. If you miss it, you've got the Trojans buried back there, and the Cardinals have been playing very good defense against the run, and certainly against the pass. Schultz has not been able to do anything in the air.
This is kind of one of the plays where in the past, in a situation like this, the Cardinals just give the ball to a running back who leaps across the line of scrimmage.
Something like that.
There's Reggie Finch. But did he make it? I don't know. I don't think he made it. We'll have to wait and see. The Trojans don't think he made it. Let's see. The officials say bring in the chains.
This is going to be all where the spot is, because Finch was stopped up in the air and then brought down, and now it's going to be where they stop, where they mark the ball. And I don't know. Well, I don't know if the ball moved very much from where the spot was a moment ago.
Yeah, I don't think he's got it, but we'll have to wait and see. Down it goes. He didn't get it. No.
You can see right there, ground level. It's a good 3-4 feet short. And the Trojans hold on a big decision for the Cardinals to go for it on 4th down to try to extend the lead in the Trojans with the big stand.
Boy, weren't they up there to stop it? Really fine defensive play. Vance Birchfield, one of the defenders, in on the play, and then leading the cheering section. So the Trojans going to see what they can do deep in their end of the field. They got the ball on their own 3-yard line. Don't want to make any mistakes here as far as they are concerned. Schultz gets a tough 2 out to the 5.
Well, you have to be somewhat conservative here, although you would like to throw the ball to get it out, but boy, you just got to be careful when you put it upstairs, certainly because the Cardinals have had a lot of pressure on Darren Schultz tonight, and he has not had any luck at throwing the ball. 1 of 8 for 7 yards.
He's a better passer than that, but he has been under tremendous pressure every time he goes to throw that ball. 2nd and 8 from the 5-yard line. Cardinals want to try and contain the Trojans. This time the ball goes to the fullback out to about the 8-yard line. A gain of 3. They're wedging it out. But they've got a 3rd and 5 situation. Weaver carries it to about the 8. Actually, the ball at about the 7.5-yard line. Want to get technical about it. So they've got a 3rd and a long 5. And as far as the Trojans are concerned, a very big play. The biggest play for them all night. The Cardinals hold. The Cardinals stop them in their tracks. The ball was given to a sunny pitcher. He got maybe 1 yard. That's it. No flags on the field, so the play stands. And again, the Trojans going to have to punt that ball away. And barring the unforeseen, the Cardinals should have very good field position. Quincy Edwards and Mel Lemaine, the return men, standing between the 40 and 45-yard line. Riddell, who's been kicking booming punts all night, gets another nice snap from center, gets an end over end coming down. Lemaine fakes the handoff and is just crunched back on the 48-yard line. So Riddell, with that fine leg, gets the Trojans out of trouble temporarily.
Cardinals were fortunate there not to cough the ball up. That was very close. They've been trying that little reverse, fake reverse each time on the punt. And it was all they could do to hold on to the ball. Lemaine able to keep it in his grasp. He was hit immediately, but the Cardinals in pretty good field position, although the nice punt got the Trojans out of the hole.
Knaus and Finch, the running backs, the ball on the Trojan 48-yard line. Richardson at quarter. Richardson pitches back to Finch, gets 2 tough yards down to the 46-yard line. A defender down there, and he's been there all night, Mike Vondra, the left corner, in on the stop. 2nd and 8 from the 46-yard line. The Cardinals right now, of course, would love to drive and turn this march, if indeed it will be a march, into some points on that board. Long count here. Now the ball to Finch, cuts back to the center. Finch to the 40, to the 35, falls across the 35 to the 34. He's got the first down. That's a pickup of 12 yards by Reggie Finch, and it's a good example of what an outstanding running back can do for you. Reggie started out to his right. Suddenly he realized there was running room up the middle of the line, so he reversed himself, shifted off to the left, and then he was away for a 12-yard pickup on the first down. 1st and 10 for the Cardinals. They've got 8 first downs here in this half. The ball to Brad Knaus, who batters his way down to about the 32-yard line. Boy, some tough running that time. That's a tough deuce picked up by Brad Knaus.
It's no surprise to see Ray Overton just try to keep this ball on the ground and chew up that clock, which is inside 7 minutes to play in the game, and he'd like to get some points out of it and to wind the clock down.
Reggie Finch goes to the left. Knaus throws a nice block. Finch hurdles across the 25, down to the 23. That should be enough for a first down. We'll have to wait to spot it. Is another first down.
Boy, Reggie Finch just gets better and better as the game goes along. Very, very strong. Finds his holes amazingly well. Has great vision once he gets in the open field.
They spot it on the 24, where it's a 1st and 10. The Trojans trying to hold on. The Cardinals trying to put it away. Finch gets the call, breaks 1 tackle, but can't get by the second man, then fumbles. And I think the Trojans have recovered, but let's wait and see what the officials call it.
Trojan players are saying it is Trinity's ball. There's no, and now they're going to say no, he got it back. The Cardinals retain possession at the 25.
Boy, just look at all those bodies down there. Let's see it again on the replay. Here he breaks the first tackle, but here down goes the ball. And a sea of bodies, and Reggie fighting for it. The Trojans thought they had it, but they did not. So a loss of 1, but the important thing there is the Cardinals don't cough it up. 2nd and 11 from the 25. Time-wise, 5 minutes, 50 seconds remaining. The Cardinals lead at 7-3. They have split receivers to the right side. That's Shoemake and Johnson. Long count by Richardson. Rolls to the right, looks to pass. Shoots one down, and it's incomplete. And he just got rid of the ball, and a flag goes down on about the 32-yard line. And that might be holding against the Cardinals. No offensive pass interference, I believe, is the call. Let's just see here.
Yeah, and it's definitely against the Cardinals. Richardson, who was in a lot of trouble, was trying to get it upfield to Shoemake. And about the time that Richardson let the ball go, Shoemake had turned his back, thinking that he was going to run the ball, and started to block. But they're going to get the hold anyway. Trojans will decline it.
The Trojans declined the penalty, and I'm really surprised that they do that. Well, it makes you wonder. It brings up a 3rd and 10. I realize that it still gives the Cardinals a 3rd and 10 situation, as opposed to moving them back from the point of the foul. Richardson again rolls to the right, looks downfield, got a man open, but overthrows and ball too high down on the 15-yard line. Trey Shoemake, the intended receiver. And we've got a 4th down situation, and let's see what they're going to do. We have Chris Henderson coming in, so look for the field goal attempt. Richardson under some duress here, gets the ball away, sidearms it down, and overthrows Shoemake, who leaped up high for it. Now Henderson is going to attempt a 42-yard field goal. Boy, this is a long one, no doubt about it. The ball is down. The kick is in the air. It's going to be short and off to the side. No good. The Trojans take over.
Wow. Big stand for the Trojans after the Cardinals had really looked like they were putting something together, driving the ball, running it very, very well, and it stalls at the 25-yard line, and still a lot of time left on this clock. 5:26 to play. Trojans trailing by only 4 points. Boy, the Cardinals could have used a field goal there.
Well, here's something to think about. Here in the second half, the Trojans, their total offense has picked up 16 yards.
And the Cardinals
haven't done much. Yeah, they really have. And what the Trojans are called on, remember, they've got to score a touchdown to win this game. If they're going to score from this point, they've got to move that ball about 75 yards. Look for the halfback pass. It's downfield. Intercepted. It is. Ball picked off by the Cardinals.
That's Henderson.
Chris Henderson, the strong safety, picking it off. John Skinner on the halfback pass. Overthrew the intended receiver, and Henderson just backpedaling, had great vision on the ball. And see him just backpedaling and makes the grab.
That's the thing about the wishbone. Well, now we've got a flag down on the play. The Trojans are very happy about something over there, and the officials talking about it. It looks like they may bring this one back. I don't know.
Well,
the
they're
ball
certainly
is
bringing
still
it back
where it was intercepted, but now Ray Overton would like some sort of an explanation on this. He is out on the field, you see, and it is a penalty going to be against the Cardinals, and this will rub the interception out. Wow. The preliminary indication was defensive holding. But it's a big
yards.
mark off.
Yeah, wow. 15-yard penalty. Personal foul against the Cardinals, roughing the passer.
A huge break for the Trojans because it was a turnover and the Cardinals were getting it right back. Let's see if we can see the roughing the passer. Well, it goes out of the picture just for a moment, but it will go against
Craig Fleischman.
Yeah.
He was putting the rush. Now, I don't know whether Craig actually hit the passer, but he was the one putting the big rush on John Skinner.
A huge break for the Trojans.
New man into the game. Carrying that time is Billy Santif. That's the first time we've seen that young man in there. And he shows his presence, picks up 5 yards, 2nd and 5.
It'll be interesting, Bob, to see how well the Trojans can move the ball in a wishbone offense that has the triple option. It's very tough because you only have usually one wide receiver, which they do now with Riddell.
They're looking to Filcher, who's got some running room, crosses the 50 down to the 46. In MacArthur's end of the field, that's a pickup of 9 yards and a first down. And that is their longest run from scrimmage here in the second half. Only their second first down in this half. But boy, it comes at a good time. They are just about 45.5 yards away from the goal line. They can't go for a field goal. They must score the touchdown. 4 minutes, 20 seconds remaining. The clock continues to roll. Santif again, the ball carrier, gets by 1, gets by 2, still on his feet. Look at this young man go. running for the end zone and is finally driven out of bounds at about the 12-yard line. Where have they been hiding this kid? Sensational Rusty Benton finally drives him out of bounds, but what a run that was. He broke at least 2 tackles. Watch this young man go. There's tackle number 1, missed. Gets by another one, off another one, spins away again. Just keeps on going, and finally Benton grabs him and pushes him out of bounds on the 12-yard line. A gain of 33 yards and a first down. And the Trojans are knocking on the door. The Cardinals want timeout to regroup.
Wow, what a turn of events. It looked like the Cardinals just 2 minutes ago, they had the ball, they were controlling and driving it down the field, and looked like they were going in for at least 3, possibly 7, and trying to put a lid on the game, but the drive stalls, and they have to go for the long field goal. There's a look at the timeouts. The Cardinals are down to just 1. And they had to go for the long field goal. It comes up short, and the Trojans find new life on this drive. Getting a couple of big plays. That last one, 35 yards. Boy, Sam, you're right. Where have they been hiding him? Coming in out of nowhere and getting 2 big plays to keep the Trojans drive alive, and still plenty of time. And we have over 4 minutes to play in the game.
There is the Cardinal defensive unit. It's all up to those 11 young men now to stop the Trojans. The Trojans have marched from just outside their 25-yard line all the way down to the MacArthur 12. So they've moved the ball 63 yards, all on the ground. And they got that great break on the penalty, where it appeared that they had lost the ball. Weaver, now it's Schultz on the keeper. Schultz fights his way down to the goal line, but not across. He's down to the goal line. Nice run by Schultz, fake to Weaver, then kept the ball and gets all the way down inside the 1 where it's 1st and goal.
Boy, everything that was going wrong for the Trojans earlier going right now. Here's Schultz, who gets around Henderson and is finally knocked out of bounds inside the 1, and it's 1st and goal for the Trojans, who are trying to take their 2nd lead of the game. The first one at 3-0. This would put them ahead with inside 4 minutes to go.
1st and goal. Schultz on the quarterback sneak.
No indication yet from the officials.
He's got a touchdown. So what seemed highly improbable has been accomplished by the Trinity Trojans, a team that had moved only 14 yards in this entire second half. Gets the ball on their 75-yard line. They move the ball 75 yards, and they score. And the key play there, the 15-yard pass roughing penalty against the Cardinals.
Yep, no doubt about that one. Even though the Cardinals' drive had failed earlier, the very next play, the Trojans go upstairs. Now the Trojans call timeout. They have 2 left, and will decide here, whether, I guess, to go for 2. They have a 9-3 lead, a 9-7 lead. This is a tough call here, because you either make it go up by 4 and force the Cardinals to have to make the touchdown. If you miss it, you give the Cardinals a chance to win the game or take the lead with a field goal.
The officials right now are going to call a timeout. I think head coach John Riddell is interested in penetrations.
Yeah.
Remember, if this game ends in a tie, then the team with the most penetrations would win the game. And a penetration is defined as moving the ball within your opponent's 20-yard line.
Now the officials are all meeting out at around the 20, and you see another official coming out on right there. The one with the clipboard is the one that will keep the penetrations during the game, to see now who is ahead, and both coaches will come out, Ray Overton and John Riddell, to see. But as you mentioned, if it is a tie, the first tiebreaker will be penetrations inside the 20. Big ball coming up. This will, I'm sure, weigh heavy in John Riddell's decision of whether to go for 2 or to kick it. And obviously, if you're ahead on penetrations, you kick it, forcing the Cardinals to have to drive the ball inside the 20. They're going to take a while to look this one over. You're right. What a turnaround for the Trojans offense here on this last 3 minutes of the game. Virtually has done nothing in the second half. Getting some new life in that rushing game. There's the story about how much time is left.
And I'll tell you, a very important factor right now is the realization that the Cardinals have but 1 timeout. Obviously, they're going to get the ball back, but they're only going to have 1 timeout, and time will become a factor as the Cardinals try and put on a drive of their own to go for a winning score.
Well, let's see what John Riddell has decided to do.
They're going to go for the 2-point play.
Yeah. Apparently, the official penetrations must lean toward the Cardinals, or they're close enough to where he wants to make sure that it's not a tie. They get it.
They sure do. They've got the 2-point play. And a big play indeed. Let's see if we can see this one again. B.J. Weaver, the man of the hour. So when the Trojans needed that wishbone really to click for them, it has done it. Let's show you first of all, the touchdown scored by the quarterback, Darren Schultz. Straight dive play, being pushed in there by his own teammates. That's one view of it. Now, another look. Hey, it's tough in there, folks.
You're right, he did get some help from the backfield.
Now the 2-point play. Here's Weaver driving it in.
Great blocking up front on the 2-point conversion. That was a nice call by Riddell. Not going on the option play or not trying to get something spread out to the sidelines. That enables the defense to penetrate and try to string it out. He went straight ahead and relied on the up-front blocking of Bass and Anderson and Claxton. And he got it as Weaver takes it in. Now the Cardinals have a lot of time. 3:53 to play in the game, and as Bob mentioned, 1 timeout. They have a lot of weapons offensively, though. Reggie Finch, Shoemake, Toby Richardson makes a lot happen himself, and they're going to have to get into the end zone if they hope to have a chance to win this one.
Brad Riddell will be kicking off. All night he has been avoiding kicking to Reggie Finch. He's been kicking the ball, hooking it over to the near sideline to Darren Arterberry. And you'd have to think he'd try and do that again, but you never can tell. We'll just wait and see. Oh, this time it comes straight down the middle. Finch gets the ball on his 3-yard line. Here's the wall in front of Reggie. Reggie Finch tries to get away from a tackle, can't do it, and it is, let's see, is that Mike Bondra again? No, this time it is another defender who brought him down. A big play that time by Chad Nussbaum. Chad Nussbaum brings down Finch on the 24-yard line. Had he been able to get around, Reggie been able to get around Nussbaum, he'd have been off to the races. So a big saving tackle by Chad Nussbaum, and it's 1st and 10 for MacArthur. Richardson, the ball goes to Finch, out to about the 29-yard line. A gain of 5.
Well, Ray Overton doesn't want to stray too far away from what has worked so well for the Cardinals. It's still a lot of time, and he wants to get Finch in there and loosen things up a little bit. He's also going with 2 wide receivers, Hillman Johnson, Shoemake, and Eddie Palmer, running the plays in as Darren Arterberry will watch from the sideline with the wingback out.
Trojans have to be keying on Finch. Here's Reggie again, steps inside 30, 35, out to the 37-yard line. He's got the 1st down. Reggie Finch, a class act, picks up 8 yards. In this half alone, he's gained 94 yards. And it's 1st and 10 for the Cardinals. That will stop the clock as the chain gang slowly moves along. Now they'll start the clock in again as we come to the 3-minute mark. So there's still time. The Cardinals had done what they needed to do, and that was pick up that 1st down on this drive. Ball on the 37-yard line. They can't afford to make any mistakes. Richardson looks downfield, throws one down, deep down. He's all the way down to about the 20-yard line.
Richardson with a sensational pass to the sideline, and Shoemake caught the ball going away and just tripped himself up a little bit as he was trying to turn and go down the sideline, ran out of bounds as he fell down, or he would have been on for the score.
A 42-yard pass and run, 1st and 10 from the 21-yard line. Reggie Finch hit and dropped at the line of scrimmage. Boy, this is what makes high school football in Texas the great game that it is. The Cardinals have one timeout. The clock rolls. We're coming to the 2-minute 30-second mark. The Cardinals must score a touchdown. They're down by 4. The Trojans lead it 11-7. The Cardinals have moved the ball from their 24 to the Trinity 21-yard line. Richardson running. He's going to scamper with it and is popped out of bounds at about the 18-yard line, a pickup of 3. But the big thing is he ran out of bounds. He stopped the clock after gaining the 3 yards. We've got a 3rd and 7 coming up. And look at these very anxious faces. A lot of chewing gum being consumed right now.
You're right. That was a nice decision by Richardson to get to the sideline and get out of bounds, not forcing the Cardinals to use their last timeout. Now, a very big 3rd down play.
Well, they've got 2 chances to pick up 6 yards. That's what it amounts to right now. Reggie Finch. Flag down, however, as Reggie gets inside the 15 to about the 14. I think that's going to be a procedure call. Let's see what it is now.
Yeah, the left side. Yeah, left side of the Cardinal line stood kind of dazed after the ball was snapped, and a lot of mix-up over there.
So now the option rests with the Trojans. Do they take the play or the penalty? They'll take the penalty.
Wow, I don't know about that. It would have been 4th down and about 3 or 4. But now they're going to say 3rd down and 12. They're going to give them. There's a tough call. That's a tough one. You move them back. You make it 3rd and 12. Or you make them go for 4th and 4, or maybe one last play. But we'll see what they do on 3rd. Call it about 11.
Richardson rolls. Looks got a man wide open. Throws to him. Caught on the 15-yard line. He was wide open.
That's Hillman Johnson. Nobody around him. I think Toby Richardson was a little upset at it himself, because he threw the ball so low that Johnson had to go down and get the ball and could not advance. Johnson had no one around him, and he could have possibly picked up the 1st down, but he had to go down to the turf to get the ball. 4th down. Cardinals with a timeout now, their last of the game, and they'll decide what to do on 4th and 4. They'll come down to this one play for the Cardinals.
It sure is. This is a 4th and 4 situation. Ray Overton thinking things over. Remember, the key man in this play is Toby Richardson, the quarterback. If for no other reason than he's the man that's going to handle that ball. But Richardson gives you a tremendous option in that he can run and he can throw. And the Cardinals may think right now we'll either use him as a decoy, having Richardson roll out and then pitch back perhaps to Reggie Finch, or we'll just have him roll out on an option pass and run play. And there is one of the assistant coaches talking to Toby Richardson. Toby has really had a fine season for these Cardinals, but it comes down to this one play right now. All the practice, all the self-denial, all the discipline, all the heartbreak, and as a former Prime Minister of England said, all the blood, sweat, and tears, right down to one play. 4th and 4 from the 15-yard line. Here come the Cardinals of Irving MacArthur up against the Trojans of Euless Trinity. Richardson with the ball. Pitches back to Finch. Finch with room's got the 1st down to the 8-yard line. Now the Trojans are saying that Richardson fell down before he pitched the ball off, but the officials say no. What a magnificent effort by Richardson, who stumbled and in the process of falling, pitched the ball back to Reggie Finch, and Reggie picked up 7 yards on the 1st down.
Wow, let's take a look at this one again. Very close. Richardson went down and caught himself with his hand. The question of was his knee down. The officials say no, and the Cardinals live again.
1st and goal from the 8, 1:37. Finch looks for running room, dives to just shy of the 5-yard line. Reggie Finch.
Excuse me, Bob. The Trojans will think about that 4th down play for some time. They had really thought Toby Richardson had hit the turf. He did slip down as he was coming out on the option. Apparently caught himself with his hand and got the pitch to Finch, who got the first down. Big key, and now second and goal from just outside the 5.
Brad Knaus fights his way to about the 3-yard line. So Knaus makes his presence felt. It's third and goal. Spotted just shy of the 3-yard line.
Clock running. They have no timeouts left. It's at 45 seconds.
They've got time for the 2 plays that they need. Well, let's see. Just guessing. Let's see if Richardson doesn't roll to the left. Well, he doesn't. It's Finch diving and stopped at about the 1-yard line. Reggie Finch stopped at the 1. How about time? 27 seconds. The clock rolling. They're sending in a play right now. 4th and goal. This is it again. As Finch goes to the 1.
I tell you what, Bob, it looked like Finch had the touchdown if he had not of leaped. He left his feet, and now Trinity may help him with the timeout. Well, now the officials have stopped the clock.
Trinity's taking a timeout.
The clock with 13. Wow.
Holy mackerel.
I don't know about that. The clock stops with 13 seconds to go. And that's going to allow the Cardinals now to set up exactly the play they want. I thought Finch had a chance to get in on that last play. He had a big hole, and it looked like he could have tucked and maybe run in, but he left his feet at about the 3 and tried to dive into the end zone, and they pushed him back at the 1.
Perhaps John Riddell's thinking in calling the timeout with 13 seconds left was he felt that the Cardinals would get the play off. And conceding the fact that they're going to get the play off, you don't mind calling the timeout because that gives your kids a chance to try and think what they're going to do defensively. And certainly you can talk to them, coaching them, or at least telling them this is what you've got to look out for. 4th and goal, the ball on the 1. Well, here it is.
Yeah,
this is the play that decides the game. For one team, it's going to be a heartbreaking loss. For the other team, it's going to be a magnificent victory. 4th and goal from the 1. The Cardinals with the ball, so they have destiny in their own hands. Knaus and Finch, the running backs. Richardson, the quarterback. A broken play, a flag flies. With 13 seconds to go, you've got to believe it's going to be a penalty against the Cardinals. Let's see if it's a procedure call against the Cardinals. We'll have to wait and see.
Wow, that's 5 yards.
Procedure against the Cardinals. Move the ball back to the 6-yard line. 4th and goal from the 6. And there is where that 2-point conversion by Trinity was so important. Because if it had just been a 3-point game, the Cardinals could have gone for the field goal right now. So instead of 4th and goal from the 1, they've got 4th and goal from the 6. And what they did was they set into formation that they had not used before. They had a full house backfield, and they were using Jason Lowe as a wingback. So here it is now, 4th and goal from the 6-yard line. Toby Richardson again going to be the man of the hour. Boy, what tremendous pressure on Toby. The ball given to Finch. Cuts to the 2, fumbles the ball in the end zone. The Cardinals recover, I think. Let's wait and see. Or do the Trojans recover? Everyone jumping up and down.
There's a
the
flag
Trojans
back.
think they've got it, and there's a flag down.
I think the flag might be against Trinity for offsides. They jumped. Let's wait and see. I don't know. I think it's against and the Cardinals think it is too.
Right. Penalty against the Trojans.
It is offsides. Offsides against Trinity. That'll move it back to the 1-yard line.
So they exchange 5-yard penalties. As far as the clock is concerned, 5 seconds remain.
Wow. The fumble, Finch was stopped. He was stopped at the 2 or 3 yard line and then coughed the ball up. It went into the end zone. The Cardinals had a player around the ball, but Trinity was able to get it back. Here's a look at it again. Watch Finch. There's the fumble, and Knaus trying to get on it and could not. The Trojans got it back. That would have been the end of the season for the Cardinals had it not been for the flag on the play. And they're going to move the ball. Well, it's not going to the 1.
No, they're going to move it half the distance to the goal line.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Half the distance to the goal line, moves it to the 3. Okay, let's do it again.
5 seconds, this may be it.
Nail-biting time it is. 4th and goal from the 3-yard line. And the officials call timeout. An official timeout here.
Yeah, the Trojans want another
Trojans want a timeout. Okay, well, they've got them. They've got them to take. That's going to be their last timeout, by the way. Both teams now out of timeouts.
Now, this may be what a team does in basketball. Maybe they're trying to ice the free throw shooter with 1 second left, trying to win the game with some foul shots. Team can ice him a little bit, make the Cardinals here think about it.
This is going to be a big one. 4th and goal. The ball rests on the 3-yard line. Boy, you wonder right now what is going through the mind of head coach Ray Overton and his players. Well, with the timeout, they've got time to decide what kind of play are we going to use. Are we going to try and run wide, go up the middle of the line? Will we pass? Will we have an option play? Finch out on the field, as is Richardson and Knaus. And again, we're going to see Jason Lowe, a linebacker, in a full house backfield. 4th and goal from the 3-yard line. Richardson dives. He scores! With 2 seconds left. Toby Richardson pulls it off. Jason Lowe was in there as a blocking back. And he threw a tremendous block, and the Cardinals have driven all the way down the field to score what should prove to be the winning touchdown. Oh, what a heartbreaker. Look at these Cardinal cheerleaders going crazy across the other side of the field. I'll tell you, these are Cardinal fans right here. But across the other side of the field, you could hear a pin drop because there's no motion at all. It just looks like a sea of inertia as far as the Trinity fans are concerned. It's the MacArthur fans who are very mobile right now. Now, the try for point by Henderson is good, but a flag is down. The Cardinals lead at 13-11. Let's see what the call is. Penalty, I believe, is going to be against the Cardinals, but let's wait and see. A legal procedure against the Cardinals, so we'll have to try that play over. The Cardinals lead at 13-11. 2 seconds remaining. Brian Briscoe is going to be talking to head coach Ray Overton. That is, if Ray has a voice left. But he's a very calm guy. Ray Overton is probably the most laid-back individual you'll ever meet. Very calm, cool, and collected. You know, he's been in this a very long time. Henderson to try the point from the 15-yard line, so really it's a kick of 25 yards. And he's got it. Looks good from here, and it is. Henderson adds the point after with 2 seconds remaining. Irving MacArthur 14 and Euless Trinity 11. Now you've got to kick the ball off. The Trojans have got just 2 seconds. It would seem to be just almost impossible for them to score a touchdown because they'd have to run this kick back for a touchdown. With that thought in mind, you've got to believe that the Cardinals are going to have an onside kick. Okay, let's see this touchdown again. There is Reggie Finch. Boy, doesn't he look excited. Watch Richardson. Picks his hole, in he goes. And brother, he just ran behind a very fine block that time. If I could see that one more time, I'd like to see who threw that block. But it's excellent camera work by our technical crew. Richardson was looking for a hole, and he found one, and he ran right behind one of the linemen. I believe it's Chris Germany. It is. Chris Germany throwing a tremendous block, and Toby Richardson just scampered in behind the big right tackle. Guess what they're saying? Think we're number one? Well, they have been tonight. 2 seconds remaining, and this is a study in contrast. Boy, I'll tell you, these Trojan players thinking we have played so hard, we've gone so far, and we just could not do it. The Cardinals ready to kick off. There's head coach John Riddell. You know, John's very upset. The Trojans have had a magnificent season, but the Cardinals, they just seem to be a team of destiny in these playoff games. Brian Briscoe down on the field right now on the sideline, waiting to talk to Ray Overton at the end of this game. Let's see if we're going to get an onside kick. And we do. Now, the minute the ball is touched, the clock will start. Okay. Do we get a razzle-dazzle play? And that's it. It's all over. The Cardinals have won it, running the kickoff back, but certainly not far enough. Was Sonny Fitcher. It's all over. The Cardinals have defeated Euless Trinity 14-11. And you have to give the Cardinal team a tremendous, really a tremendous amount of credit, because they knew what they had to do. They had to move the ball a tremendous distance in a relatively short period of time. And 2 penalties make the difference in this ball game. The roughing the pass penalty, roughing the passer, allowing Trinity to keep the ball and eventually go in for a touchdown. That was one turning point. The other turning point was when Reggie Fitch was stopped shy of the goal, fumbled into the end zone, lost the ball, but the play was wiped out because of a procedure call against the Euless Trojans. So it's all over. And here are some very happy and emotionally drained Cardinals walking off the field, realizing that they've won this one 14-11. We'll be back with Brian Briscoe and head coach Ray Overton right after these words. To come by Irving MacArthur fans. The Cardinals pull it out in the final 2 seconds of play, winning it 14-11. Let's go down to the field with head coach Ray Overton and Brian Briscoe.
Okay, Bob, thanks very much. And now visiting with a very happy Ray Overton, MacArthur coach. I know it looked like it pretty nail-biting time down at the end, but Toby Richardson has shown that he's a very cool customer when it comes to situations like that.
Toby has a lot of poise, and on that game he just saw the opening. We had told him that if it was there, we really expected to pitch the ball, but we told Toby if the opening is there to take it, and he saw it and went in the end zone, and great play.
Your emotions must have jumped up and down so many times in that last 2 or 3 minutes. The interception call back, you're down there close, Nate gets a procedure call, and then you're back in there. It was a tough game to keep your emotions in.
Oh, it sure was. You know, when we intercepted the ball, and we thought we could then run the clock out, and instead of that, we get a big penalty, and they get down and get a little momentum, and they score, and then it looks like we got it back, and to get those penalties, it looked like it's going to kill us. But our kids had a lot of courage and a lot of character, and think they came through.
It looked like at a time, certainly the big play for Trinity when they went for 2 and made it. Obviously, had they kicked the ball, you would have been in great position down here for the field goal and made you go for the touchdown.
Yes, that was a big play for them. It was smart on their part. We were ahead on everything, and if we could have got it to the 20 and then kicked the field goal, we'd have been way ahead in everything else. And that's what we thought about, but then they went for 2 and made it, and made it a different ball game. We had to score then.
The last 2 ball games have been quite a showing for the Cardinals, beating Duncanville, and then you come in last seconds. Now you're on to the next round.
Yes, sir. Those are big ball games, and I think that our team is back. They have the spark in their eye again now, and so we feel real good about them.
All right, it's on to the next round. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
MacArthur head coach Ray Overton. Dramatic win tonight for the Cardinals, 14-11 over Trinity. Let's go back upstairs to Bob.
Thank you very much, Brian Briscoe. And Ray Overton, of course, a very mild-mannered man and just a marvelous coach, and a magnificent decision, I think, by the Irving Independent School District to hire this man and bring him in from Abilene, because he has really turned around this program. And ever since he's come here, the Cardinals have been competitive. He has really given this school something to shout about. The Cardinals win at 14-11. Let's show you the final stats as you can see them. Really, no doubt that the Cardinals outplayed Trinity. The Cardinals led in first downs, 19-11. Look at the difference in rushing, 325 yards to 141. In passing, 94-7. And the total yardage difference, 419 to 148. The Cardinals led in every capacity here. They really did. The game very close. And it came down to basically that last drive where the Cardinals moved the ball from their 24-yard line all the way down to the 3-yard line. They had some key runs by Reggie Finch. They had a 42-yard pass and run play from Toby Richardson to Trey Shoemake that brought the ball down to the 21-yard line. And then what appeared to be the final play of the game with the ball on the 6-yard line and just 13 seconds remaining, 4th down, 4th and goal from the 6. Reggie Finch carried the ball, was hit, fumbled. The ball went into the end zone, was ultimately recovered by the Trojans. It looked like the ball game was over, but the Trojans were guilty of an infraction, a penalty. The Cardinals got new life. They had a 4th and goal from the 3, and on their final play from scrimmage, it was Toby Richardson cutting behind a fine block thrown by the right tackle, Chris Germany, and he moved behind Germany to go in for the score. The point was added, and that was the ball game. The Cardinals win it 14-11. A magnificent victory for Irving MacArthur, a heartbreaking defeat for the Trojans of Euless Trinity. For Brian Briscoe, this is Bob Barry, thanking you very much for joining us and wishing you a very pleasant good night.